So this is our reflections for the production and performance of our showcase in Hartlepool of buckets. So this first part is going to be the production side. So lights, cameras, well, not cameras, but lights, sound, stuff like that. We felt that the tech run was very stop-starty, as tech runs usually are. It is very stop-starty because they need to figure out where the sounds are going to start, where it's going to stop, where the lights are going to come on, where they're going to turn off, all stuff like that. The lights were very blinding. I'm just reading what we wrote, what me and Claire wrote about. Can I can't. Okay. Give me a second. The colours worked well with more scenes. For example, pouring and sipping was blue to match the rainfall. There was flashing lights for lightning. Sometimes the lighting felt very delayed for some scenes. Like for our opening scene in the actual performance, the lights were supposed to completely turn off so we could get on stage and sit down and do everything. But that didn't happen, so we had to work through it. With the sound, it worked very well with all the scenes. We picked the sounds ourselves. But it was very delayed in some scenes. So quite a lot of the time we didn't know where we were. The set. We had a sofa in the set. I hate this. We had a sofa that was only meant to be used for one scene, but because we couldn't take it off and put it back on and everything, it was there for the first half of the showcase. It got in the way of most scenes and it didn't feel quite right. It felt very off. It felt very out of place. And it was just kind of there because it had to be. There was no real purpose in the other scenes. The scenes after the sofa was permanently off went fine because the sofa wasn't there. Very happy that the sofa wasn't there for my scene. Costume. For me, it's just written heels equal pain. I was in heels. I cut up all my feet. It wasn't fun. Without props, I wrote bucket was dusty. My bucket was dusty. It had come out of a shed or something. It was Claire's bucket. It was a very dusty bucket. Claire said her umbrella was fine, but the hat got in the way. Our communication with the tech team was not the best. We weren't very communicative. We didn't. Sometimes it felt like our suggestions were just in one ear, out the other. And by the end, I had zero patience. I was done with it. I wanted to go home. This is for our performance side of it. Okay. The scenes worked well together with the ensemble. People knew their cues within the scenes, when to speak, who was after, who was before, and all that. It was very well. People knew what they were doing for the most part. Scene groups. Charity went well and worked better after we spoke with our tutor about blocking and movement and everything, and we felt like after the conversation our scene flowed so much better. Adaptation. So this was like our movement from the studio to the stage. It was very easy as the studio was around the same size as the stage. So it was pretty easy to make that transition. Yeah. Stage acting technique. We wrote avoid blocking other actors or having your back to the audience, because if you have your back to the audience, your voice isn't going to project towards the audience, it's going to project into the wall. And then it's going to be absorbed by the wall and the audience won't hear you. There was projection because we didn't have any microphones. We had to say a lot of our stuff very loudly so that the people in the back could hear us. Our facial expressions and body language. Just because we couldn't see the people in the audience doesn't mean they couldn't see us, and our facial expressions and our body language was very important to convey what we were trying to convey for the scenes. Notes and feedback. We took our feedback into account, I feel. We used it and it made our scene work so much better, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I feel like we were all quite professional. We were quieter when we needed to be, and most people were ready for the scene following, apart from some of the 9 to 5 people. So that was fun. Flexibility. I tried my best. I didn't need to be as flexible because me and Claire knew our lines for our scene. The only time I needed to be a little bit more flexible was during the train station transition where I moved the bench forward and someone had moved their bench closer to the middle, so the bench didn't fit. And I was like, no. And again, patience. By the end, I just wanted to go home. I was tired with everything. But I had to stay behind and collect donations because why not?